You're going to hear about one of the most unusual college programs in the country. It involves prisons, so we're going to be doing that next right here on Due Process.
Major funding for Due Process is provided by Meade Lexus of Southfield and Meade Lexus of Lakeside, offering a large selection of new and pre-owned certified premium vehicles.
While others are content to imitate, we'll continue to innovate. The Lexus RX. Why settle for a copy when you can own the original?
And by WWJ News Radio 950, keeping you up to date with the latest news, traffic, weather, sports, and business information 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Live, local, and committed to Michigan's future. News Radio 950, WWJ.
Thank you. I'm Henry Baskin, your host for this edition of Due Process. We're going to be talking about a very unusual program out of the University of Michigan Dearborn campus in conjunction with the Ryan Correctional Facility. Sounds like a strange combination, but we're going to find out from Lora Lempert. You are a professor at U of M Dearborn, correct?
I am indeed.
And you're seated next to the Deputy Warden Scott Nobles. Welcome to Due Process.
Thank you.
This is unusual, but somehow you're telling me that college is related to the prison system. Seated out and joining us by remote are Paul, who's a former inside student, and we'll define that later, and Brian, who's a former outside student. How you doing, folks?
We're doing good, thank you.
Good, okay. Well, stay with us because we're going to be finding out exactly what is this program.
The Inside Out Prison Exchange class is part of a national program. It was initiated in 1997 at Temple University by Lori Pompa. And its initiation came out of the kinds of things that many criminal justice programs do and that people do at Ryan, which is bring their classes through to see what a prison looks like and talk to the people inside and then go back and discuss it in class. And she had been doing that with her class when they'd had a particularly fruitful exchange, and one of the inside people, a man named Paul, as it turns out, had said, it's too bad we don't do this more often and with more extension. And she took that idea and developed the Inside Out Prison Exchange program and then got a Soros grant to take it national.
Okay.
And so in order to participate in the program, the instructors need to do a 60-hour training. Because
well,
of course
when you say instructors, you mean your instructors at U of M Dearborn?
I did the training.
Oh, okay.
People around the country who want to bring an inside-out prison exchange class to a local facility have to do a 60-hour training to be able to
Warden
do that.
Nobles, how did you take to this idea of? I'm not exactly sure how it works yet, but were you for it at the beginning?
We're for all positive programming. Programming within the department is very, very important to us and to Warden Booker. We're for positive programming. However, when you talk about bringing a program in from outside, especially one to this extent where you're bringing in 15 to 20 students.
You're bringing, all right, now we're getting down to it. You're bringing students from U of M Dearborn,
right,
correct,
or from a college, to the Ryan Correctional Facility, which is your domain.
Correct.
Right. Where do you put the people? I mean, is there a room that everybody gathers in and say this is our classroom?
It takes place in our academic school, so we do have a classroom that it takes place in, and that's one of the concerns because the classrooms, the students from U of M Dearborn and the prisoners within the facility, they interact extremely closely during the course of the program.
Who picks the prisoners that can do it?
Dr. Lempert interviews the prisoners. We have a lot of prisoners who are interested, a lot of prisoners on a waiting list, and she interviews them all and they select the prisoners.
But, on your side also, though, you you screen out anybody with a criminal sexual conduct charge. So nobody can take the class who has a criminal sexual conduct charge.
Well, let me find out about Ryan. Is Ryan a minimum security prison?
No, we have level 2
All right,
prisoners.
so you have felons there.
Yes, we do.
Okay, or former felons or whatever.
No,
you call them.
we have felons there. We're essentially a medium security facility.
So these two gentlemen, one of whom is a student, or
Correct.
was a student, and one of whom is incarcerated, or was incarcerated, participated in the program. And I'm not going to ask which one. Well, when the audience calls in, we can vote and see who's in and who's out. However, if you could tell me who was ever inside when this was presented, and that would be Paul. Were you looking forward to this kind of interaction?
I was. It was something new and different, and it was kind of to get a break from the monotony of just everyday prison life, and it was something new and refreshing. I was very excited to attend a college course and see new faces and possibly have those interactions.
Let me ask Brian, you were a student. What did you learn by going to the correctional facility?
I think for like the outside students in my position, I think that we learned to see that our inside classmates are human. I think that it's a big difference because, you know, prisons and society are separate. Oftentimes people from the outside don't go in. So we learned to see them as individuals instead of people who are incarcerated.
Did you have an opportunity to ask them why they were there or what crimes were committed to put them there?
No, part of the program, we don't ask them why they're there. I think Dr. Lempert can speak more to that.
Okay.
If they feel free to tell us, yes, then it's a different. But as an outside student, we do not ask the inside students why they're incarcerated.
Paul, how long have you been in the program? How long were you in the program?
It was a semester, so roughly 3 months, I believe. It was a winter semester, full college semester, my first college class, actually.
Let me ask, Professor, how do you set the curriculum? How do you determine what we're going to talk about, what program, within the program we're going to present?
The course I teach is race, class, and gender in the criminal justice system.
Okay.
And so it's analysis of all three of those features from...
Were these two gentlemen involved in that program?
Brian was not. Brian was in Dr. Draus's class. And Dr. Draus, when he teaches the class, looks at ghettos and prisons and the similarities and distinctions between them.
So these outside people drive up to your facility?
Correct.
On a pre-scheduled basis, obviously. And are they led through a safe corridor to a room, or I don't know exactly how you set this up?
They're processed in just like visitors. We try to get them all as a group. Professor Lempert or Professor Draus come in and gather the outside students, and we bring them in as a group, and they're processed through the gate. They're searched for contraband. They go through the metal detector.
Do they all sit in assigned places or anywhere they want?
Once they get down to the classroom, Professor Lempert,
They interact together. The class is more facilitative than didactic, and so they work together in groups.
I assume there's no security in the room?
None in the room.
None in the room.
No. But in the hall, all around us.
Well,
and they are oriented by the prison before they come in to begin with.
Well, Paul, as a former inside, were there a lot of your colleagues who wanted to get into this class?
There were. Initially, when we found out about it, flyers were placed throughout the housing units, and it basically just gave a brief description of the program, and you were able to meet in a general building to kind of be told more about it, and the requirement was to write an essay basically saying why you think you should be in the program. And then from that point, Dr. Lempert would interview you, and I believe it was around over 200 students that initially wrote essays.
Wow, that's considerable. It shows a exceptional need. Does any of this lead to a GED if there is no high school diploma? Any credits at all?
No, it's against the law in this state to offer inmates college-level courses at taxpayer expense.
Whoa, wait a minute. Where is the taxpayer expense? You have your students there,
but
they're learning.
But the inside students do not get course credits.
I understand.
They get continuing education units.
Well,
The students like Brian get course credit.
Well, as long as you're teaching, you got a group of 20 people in your room and you're teaching to an outside student. You would think the inside student's going to listen and hear things.
Well, they do.
Well, I know. So the state's not paying for that.
No, they're not.
They're paying for you.
Exactly.
They're paying for the students.
But
the outside students.
Exactly.
So they should let the inside students get some more benefit than just learning. They should get some line item college credits or something like that.
Well, they get continuing ed units, which once they exit, they can petition the university to convert to course credits, since it is a full.
Paul, Scott, have you sat in on some of these classes?
I have. Mm-hmm.
Are they challenging?
Very challenging. Yeah. And just to back up briefly, we do offer GED programming for all prisoners who are in need of GED.
At the Ryan facility?
At the Ryan facility.
Okay.
Apart from Dr. Lempert's program. And I guess my point is in obtaining and achieving success in this program, this is something that the prisoners, they strive to get into the program, they strive to succeed in the program. We can offer GED and adult basic educational programs, but that's through departmental instructors to be in a, forgive me for saying it, a real college program where they're interacting with college professors and college students. That is a great achievement for the prisoners within the institution.
Every so often there'll be something on television where some enterprising reporter will decide, I'm going to spend a week in jail and see what it's like. This is not about that. This is about, what is it, 4 hours, 6 hours?
It's a 3-hour class every Monday night.
And the students drive themselves to the facility?
Yes, they do.
And what does it come under? What department? Sociology?
It's cross-listed. I'm a sociologist. It's also offered for criminal justice credit and for women and gender studies credit.
Tell me some of the wonderful things that have happened while you were there teaching.
Oh, there are so many.
Well, think about it.
Paul's one of the wonderful things that has happened. He has a
hold on, I'm going to take a break and let you tell us when we come back from the break. We'll be right back after this short break.
Legal referrals and more information on this and other related topics are available on our website at www.dueprocess.tv. There you'll find information on today's program, helpful hints to legal issues, support materials, and lawyer referrals. You can also stream previous episodes of Due Process.
Hey, we're back on Due Process talking about a very unusual program, the Inside Out program at the Ryan Correctional Facility in conjunction with University of Michigan Dearborn. Tell me, I interrupted you, but tell me about some interesting stories.
I just want to make sure that Paul gets his props here, because when he came into the class, he hadn't yet finished his GED, and he's now at Macomb Community College with a 3.8 grade point average, and has already been accepted for enrollment at the University of Michigan Dearborn. So,
well, that's fabulous.
So that's one of the wonderful things. And Paul is not alone. While he is pretty wonderful, there are other wonderful students just like him who are also as successful when they come out.
Well, congratulations, Paul. What is the grand design here? What are we trying to do by integrating the students with the inmates?
Well, I think a number of things. One is to demystify who's in prison, and to change that narrative. So from the outside, that's clearly what happens, and you heard that from Brian already. For the inside, I think what we want to do is 95% of the people who are in prison come out of prison. And we all then have a stake in who's coming out and how they're coming out. And if they're going to be living in our neighborhoods, I'd rather have college grads living in my neighborhoods than people who don't have any skills at all. And so what happens is people begin to see themselves as brighter than they thought they were. Then often people who go to prison haven't had educational opportunities or haven't thought of themselves as people
who have more self-worth too.
Exactly.
Let me just digress for a minute.
Sure.
Brian, have you gone on to other sociological aspects in college?
My major undergrad was criminal justice and my minor was sociology.
Okay.
And so I plan on going to grad school, start next week at Wayne State. I want to major in counseling because I feel like most of the guys inside, that they can use that mental health help. And for me, coming from the outside and my experience with the program, I can be beneficial in that aspect. And it kind of like bridge the gap and promote restorative justice concepts.
So you intend to go inside when you graduate and counsel prisoners?
Yes.
Okay. You know, the criminology courses that are taught, and I remember the one I took, so we're going to visit women's prison, we're going to visit Cassidy Lake, and we're going to visit Jackson Prison. Mm-hmm. So it really didn't mean much to us because we weren't interacting with the people there. We were just observing. And you walk into the Jackson Prison, and it was an enormous facility with a whole bunch of people having nothing to do, standing around. And you got that feeling, the only good that came up, say, well, I don't want to be here. Then you look at these other facilities, and there was really nothing to learn, with all due respect to the criminology department at that time. There was nothing to learn except to know they existed and what was behind the walls. And something like this is educational, but it translates, and it's more transformative because it goes down to even the students who are not from the outside going in. Because certainly people like Brian communicate with people and say, this is what we can do. People like Paul can say, but for this class, and I'm not sure if I can owe it all to the class, Paul, but you know, it says, but for this class, you wouldn't be at Macomb Community College, right?
No, I don't believe I would have. I think I probably would have came out in the same mind frame, but probably just tried to pursue a job and been content. But with the class, it kind of awakened an educational almost fire within me and showed me my own potential. It really helped me understand that I am smart enough to pursue a college education and that it would be very beneficial in the future.
How many Pauls are there in the Michigan corrections system? Just wild guess.
Thousands.
So you know that more than a third of our state's budget, and more than is spent on education, is spent on corrections. You know that, right?
Oh, yes.
Okay, and I'm sure the governor knows that. So don't you think it would be worthwhile to expand these programs throughout the state of Michigan?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, what does it take? I mean, here's a person who's been in corrections. How many years have you been in corrections?
28.
28 years. And here comes a new program, sort of unique. Don't you think it would help at all these other facilities around the state?
I can only speak for Ryan, and it's very helpful for us.
Right.
And
well, you're being political. I mean, you could speak for other people, but
though this is not part of the Michigan Prisoner Reentry Initiative,
I understand.
This program, it does wonders for all of our prisoners. Those that are getting out quickly, we've put prisoners who are serving life sentences through this program.
Absolutely. Really?
Oh, yeah.
And
my first class was
to back up to the but-fors.
Even though they're not going anywhere.
Right, but it does so much for them. To succeed in this program, it helps from a custodial standpoint, it helps from an administrative standpoint. The prisoners cherish the fact that they're in this program. Their behavior changes. They become role models, in a sense, for the other prisoners within the institution because they do want to stay in the program, and it's a real sense of achievement for them to succeed in this program.
Yeah, excuse the pun. It's not meant as a pun, but do you give them homework?
Oh, absolutely. That's one of the things Warden Booker liked about the program early on. We keep them really busy. These are college-level courses. They're not watered down. And the students inside and outside are graded on University of Michigan Dearborn standards. So they have to step up.
Do you find in the classroom that even those who are inside are quite able to stand up and ask questions as much as the insiders?
Oh, yeah. They're even more likely to challenge me in many ways.
You know, this is a public service show. So how can we help get this thing on a broader scale?
We have been working really hard to get the program expanded around the state, to encourage faculty at the 13 public universities in this state to do the training.
15.
15.
I have a reason for knowing that. But
to do the training so that they can offer these classes at facilities near them. They don't have to be state facilities. They can also be offered in juvenile facilities or jails. There are people around the country offering them at halfway houses. There are multiple venues. But certainly to get this opportunity out, Brian and I have done a number of presentations at other facilities around the state to men and women inside. Now, EMU is going to launch an Inside Out class at Women's Huron Valley starting this September.
Well, I assume that Ryan Correctional is just male inmates?
Correct.
Okay, so there won't be any coeducational classes, but there's...
Oh, they are coeducational.
Oh, they are.
These programs?
Yes,
At
they're
Ryan?
absolutely coeducational.
Do you have women?
We have
No,
no
no.
women prisoners, but the outside students.
Oh, okay. Or
We
women.
have male and female outside students.
Well, I sense that if someone was filling out their schedule for next year, they'd say, well, do I want to drive over to a prison once a week and take part in a class? Do you have a lot of people who are wanting to do that?
Yes,
Really?
yes. That we have wait lists for the classes.
And
On both sides.
And you have a wait list over at your place, too, then?
Oh, correct.
And they have to apply. Enrollment is by permission of instructor. So I interview everybody at the university before I enroll anybody, and I interview everybody inside.
Okay, what's the maximum capacity?
15 and 15.
15 and 15. That's about all you can do right now, huh? And are there plans on the drawing board to increase the numbers
At Ryan?
at Ryan? Or
Oh, I think we probably strained your abilities already.
that's about it?
Well, we run two classes.
Right.
We have Professor
winter.
Lempert
there's
and,
2 nights.
and Professor Draus.
Fall and winter.
Oh, fall and winter. Oh,
Right.
okay. But so it's only one night a week, is
Right.
what I'm saying.
Right.
And then during that week, they do their homework, and do they submit it to you?
Of course.
And how do you get it? I mean, they submit it at the next class? or-
Yeah.
Okay,
And
and
then
you grade all these
I
things?
do.
And you can criticize?
I do.
Without,
That's one of the biggest complaints. They talk about my purple pen.
Oh, really? Well, anyway, tell me about the students like Brian who go through the program. You heard what he said he took out of it, but what do you think they take out of it?
I think the program is transformative on both sides.
Okay.
And it's transformative in ways that are not actually predictable. So people, and I tell them, you're going to be a different person at the end of this class than you are at the beginning. And so I have had one female student who actually moved to California so that she could do a program in correctional education, because that's where the best program in the country was. There are other students who have gone on to law school. People have changed their major. They've become activists. They join groups like Families Against Mandatory Minimums and the Second Chance Lifers and the Clemency Project and so on.
Well, that's really laudable. I just wonder how you can all expand it. I mean, this is a very successful program, obviously, and other schools are looking at it, I would imagine. Because given the enormity of our prison population, the enormity and the cost per student, the cost per prisoner, it's much more than we're giving to our high school and college students, which is amazing to me. So you would think that if it is transformative, you'd want to do something. So I want to thank you. Thank you for what you're doing. Thank you for allowing it to happen and making it happen. And Paul?
Yes.
Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Good luck. When do you graduate?
Right now I'm at Macomb on a transfer and equivalency program, and I will graduate from U of M hopefully by 2014.
That's great. And Brian, good luck to you. You're headed to get your master's?
Yes.
Okay, and then back into the system to help these people.
Yes, correct.
It's all good work. I mean, there's just no downside to it at all, is there?
No, there really isn't.
I mean, and there's no additional cost to anybody, as I can see.
Well, I think there is some on your end in staffing.
If there is, it's minimal. I
Yeah.
mean, we staff the building anyhow, so we're fully staffed down there where the class takes
Did
place.
anybody object to this? I'm listening to the success, but I'm wondering if anyone could possibly have objected to this program.
I don't know that there was an objection as much as there was concern when we first started meeting and talking about that. Of course, you know, on the security side, bringing in 15